Welcome to the 49th and final part of Ni no Kuni.
So, audience, you remember how a few parts ago I said that this world was more real than the one we live in because of stuff like Bubsy coming back? Well, I don't know what to think about even this world now because we may be seeing a Ni no Kuni with Mighty Number 9-ish characters in it someday.
Go to hell, Jova.
Hey, I'm just relaying what the actual people said themselves, Shiroi.
Anyway, hold on.
Never mind that. What
Anyway.
about that new Atari console?
That's actually off topic anyway, but the point is we're about to get our final boss fight, so there's gonna be banter, so
I
pay
wish we
attention.
didn't have to fight, but we can't let Cassiopea destroy the entire world.
Yeah,
Before
so
we move
well,
on in
yeah,
10
we
minutes,
can
we're
help-
getting a
we
Dreamcast
can't help
too.
it about it, so I just beat the living shit out of her.
Anyway, what I was saying earlier, like, I really like the voice acting on this particular cutscene from the actress who plays Cassiopea. Or the White Shredder.
So
Miss
guess,
Keyboard.
so guess what, Vips? Being tradition one before, even the parrot was in imagination.
Well, the parrot obviously wouldn't be able to live so many years, so that was already pretty obvious.
Well, for all we know, she could have used magic. Well, no, I'm sorry. I abort my argument.
Long ago, my own was consumed by the blackest despair.
So yeah, she wants to destroy the world because it is imperfect, and unless the world is perfect, then it must be destroyed and start anew.
Jesus Christ, even Manfred von Karma isn't that vile.
He's right. You're not the only person in the world. The world might not be exactly how you want it, but that's no reason to just get rid of everyone. You can't do that. It's wrong.
But I want to do what I want to do.
Your opinion, bud.
Oh, listen here, I love this acting.
The world is mine to remake as I see fit.
Says who?
By my will, we
Says her, apparently.
I condemn you to suffer forever.
Yeah, what I love about the way she delivers that final rant that she makes, like if you pay attention, you can even the voice directing, by the way, is brilliant because if you listen closely, you can even hear a bit of sorrow in her delivery,
Yeah.
she's so completely in complete suffering internally.
She's voiced by Jennifer Bryden.
Do you know her, Whips?
No, I was just looking up. Looking up
Flipping heck! I can feel the White Witch's power over by Iamon. Make sure you dodge your spells, Holly boy, or block them, or something.
What?
Do something, man. Do something.
Do something! Okay. Beep, 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 beep. Do something!
Oh, I love this one. Fallen Star. So yeah, she has her own spell, her own rune and everything.
Complete with personal glyphs.
Ow!
Well, she hasn't been in that much. I mean, the only other stuff she's been in is the Fables 2 and 3 and Soul Sacrifice.
Well, it's a shame because I actually really love her work in this game.
But she did do like a short film called Blood is Thicker, but that's about it.
I wonder if it had to do with the fact that while this game did better in the US, it sadly,
And Europe.
yeah.
Anyway, that barrier means you cannot harm her, actually.
Back when this game first came out in 2013, it actually premiered at #1 in the UK charts.
Makes sense. I mean, look at all the UK things in here.
And hey, it's every UK citizen's dream. Show the truth that Parliament are nothing but a figment of the figurehead's imagination, which explains why they're so inept at times. No offense.
None taken, I guess.
Here we go.
Actually, has your Parliament gotten any better, Dwibs and Shiroi? Okay.
And let's not again. We've
Yeah,
Can we
next
not
week,
go
next
into
week.
this considering very recent events?
There you go, guys.
All right.
Now we're literally inside her cape.
She has the
That's
best cape.
not awkward at all.
Wait, so we're inside her cape, but she has her cape. Is it her cape within her cape?
Don't question it with Jova.
It's magic. We don't have to explain it.
It's JRPG logic. The final boss must happen in some kind of weird, tripping, space dimensional shit.
Destroy the world. I won't let you.
Cassiopea, monster of mana.
Huh. So what? Did she
With her
absorb her...
personal final boss theme, I think.
Yes, this Johnny Sashi was brought back to write this one. Yeah. But all the new themes for the White Witch arc are made by Isashi.
Actually, well, yeah, for the one the one we heard before for the first fight, this theme of Shadar's minion, and
Oh yeah. I know that. I'm talking about specifically the White Witch only tracks. That's what I'm talking about.
Sure.
You know the person who voices Oliver's mom and Alicia?
Yeah.
She also voices Aurora in Azran Legacy and Darklaw in the crossover.
There you go. She's a level 5 regular.
Aha! I thought I recognized that voice.
And it's interesting because judging from what me and Duets have been hearing, it kind of seems like Maria Darling is the one voicing Evan in Ni no Kuni 2. So if it turns out to be that, Maria Darling will officially be the voice actress with most level 5 experience because she started in Dragon Quest VIII back in 2005. So that would be interesting. She was also, of course, Mark for the protagonist of the first Inazuma 11 trilogy.
Also, Marcussin's dad's voiced by the same guy who voices Bronev and Belduke. He also, unfortunately was in 007 Legends, but I don't want to talk about that anymore till we get to that game.
Which game?
007 Legends, the one.
Oh, right. Yeah, I know.
Yeah, basically, for those who don't know, he managed to go from voicing Bronev in games to doing the worst impression of a actor I've ever heard in my life.
Bad.
There you go.
Let's drink some espresso.
Yeah, eating an espresso makes you use magic. Don't ask.
Oh!
Makes sense to me.
So that's why Godo drinks so much coffee. He's a magician.
He's a wizard.
Alakazam!
And then
No,
magic
the guy
shoots
just
from his
doesn't
visor.
sleep at all. There's me, and then there's Godo.
Wow.
Coffee Menti! That's how he makes all those coffees, he just casts a spell in his cup.
So is that where the mugs come from?
Maybe.
Yeah.
He has like an interdimensional pocket where he cups them.
No. The spell is so good, it not only makes the coffee, it makes the mug for it.
No, I'm still gonna keep my head canon that Pearl's the one just pushing the coffee mugs at him.
Yeah,
But that depends.
Maybe it's like in Doctor Strange in the Stinger. He just refills it automatically.
Your Honor, I've got to bargain.
Yeah.
So yeah,
This
obviously...
is time. A little invention I brought from my dimension. Oh, have you seen the movie yet, Whips? Teo? Sorry.
Yeah, I actually did. Very loving the visuals.
What movie?
What did you think of it? Doctor
Yeah.
Strange.
I really like it.
sorry.
Of course.
It's alright.
I forgot the name. Dormammu's acolyte was a bit weak as a villain, but I get what they mean. But they were trying to build up with more story arc.
Well, that's just the thing too. Even his original comic book counterpart wasn't all that interesting anyways.
Yeah, I'm surprised we decided to pick such an obscure character for the main villain. But I get what they were doing anyway.
What were you gonna say, Jova?
I was asking, what was the name of the movie or show mentioned?
Doctor Strange.
Doctor Strange MCU movie.
Oh.
What I love about like the whole resolution of the climax on how he defeats Dormammu was so clever.
Yeah, in fact, a lot of Doctor Strange actual stories in comic book relies on defeating with using diplomacy and thinking
Logic.
instead of just brute violence and magic.
Yeah. Black hole.
That's one of the reasons why it's one of my favorite personal stories of Marvel using. Instead of just being superheroes, being in the shit of each other, but it's not bad, but it's stuff I can see in a lot of other
It's really
stuff.
great that it finally came out, considering it was a passion project for Kevin Feige, because he's always wanted to see a Doctor Strange movie, and the director Scott Derrickson, he himself is also a huge fan, and you can tell because they really did a good job in replicating.
Yeah, you could see also because they started teasing it in Winter Soldier, I think.
They started teasing it in Winter Soldier?
not Winter Soldier.
Stephen, yeah, we started started teasing Doctor Strange in Steve
we don't-
Winter Soldier. Stephen Strange's name was one
Hold
of
on,
the ones
sorry.
on the computer.
That looked like it hurt.
Yeah.
And now we get to see her face.
And it's
Why? This world is imperfect.
like your mom. Oh,
So a new one may begin.
No!
sorry.
You can't just tear it up and start over.
It's not that easy, you know.
But nothing is.
It's not
So
easy
you make
being
the best
white.
of what you've got. When things go wrong, you have to try and make them right. And you have to keep on trying.
I
no
worked
matter
really
how
hard on that mask.
That's what life is all about.
You learned this lesson the hard way.
Life.
Even when you're all alone.
And there goes Shiri, she's a changeling.
Sooner or later, someone's sure to come along.
Where's her
She's gonna get
nose?
killed by Django Fett.
And
She's missing her nose. She's Voldemort.
she's a part of you. Mm-hmm. And I met Oliver.
Oh.
Oliver, you're my friend. No, P.
I'm best friends with what is possibly my mortal enemy.
Changing.
Life's weird sometimes.
Farewells,
Irony.
happy times, sad
I
times.
think.
You take things as they come. And you keep on going.
Because life's a bitch like that.
You just deal with it.
You're so kind, Oliver.
By the way, was it those dreadlocks?
Don't be angry with Cassiopea. She was so sad. She didn't know what to do. That's why I was born. But now you
Of course, you were born because of indecisiveness.
after her.
Well, we established that in the flashback, so...
Weird way to be born.
I have to go now.
Well, it's a world relying on magic of almost everything. Lives
Well, she means
bound-
born. She doesn't mean born literally, so...
Everything,
Stuff like
Oliver.
these are bound to happen, and being rational.
And there you go. So now both the good side and the dark side finally join together, and there you go.
With your powers combined.
Queen Cassiopea is back.
Born anew.
Oh, thank God those dreadlocks are gone.
And a pain.
The real Cassiopea.
Pleased to make your acquaintance.
After nearly killing you.
Cassiopea. As I was long ago. I will be forever in your debt.
Heck yeah, you will.
You have restored me to my true self. I heard your words, and now I can begin to live again.
Forever and ever.
Thank you, Oliver.
Yeah, too bad. Being this level 5 game, we just need a gigantic ball of a boss out of nowhere.
So, turns out the Zodiacs are...
Basically, the Zodiacs that she imagined because of her own supreme magical power eventually became real. She turned her own imagination into reality.
So it turns out the things that she thought were her imagination and weren't real all along were actually real long.
They're gonna say no.
Well, no, they're real now.
Her own, her own magic imagination turned against herself, man. Yeah, I love what you're get back in her head, you rotters.
This is all my fault. Run from here.
No way. We're so
Come on, if we could beat you, we're level enough to beat these
Haven't you learned,
chumps.
bitch? We do this together. Teamwork.
Haven't you learned about the superpower of teamwork?
We are Nino Kuni heroes.
The Zodiarchy, the council corrupted.
I don't know. I thought the ending of the last boss was pretty conclusive enough, but I guess
We got another boss. Enjoy.
Ribs, this is how video games work.
I don't know. This
Final
one's
Fantasy
just-
VII was perfectly fine with Sephiroth, but I digress. Although I gotta admit that secret ending boss of Final Fantasy IX came the fudge out of nowhere.
Necron.
Well, this one doesn't come out of nowhere.
The only problem
That's
with
not
that
so
show is
much
that
that-
they don't explain at all.
Jova.
Is everyone alright? I'm sorry. I must not allow the time that they use
Use such
to
attacks.
start out.
Help out, Ollie boy. You've got to hit them before they can hit you.
Oh my god,
Yeah,
someone
basically,
actually
forgot to-
spoke in one of those tips aside from Drippy.
So yeah, basically, throughout this battle, Cassiopea will be helping you by trying her best to stop the attacks coming from the Zodiarchy. You yourself also have to help, like Drippy just said. Use preferably Astra if you have it already, since Astra is one of those attacks that, like Theo said, can cancel other people's attacks. So be sure to help Cassiopea out, because Cassiopea, of course, is going to try her best to stop the Zodiarchy's attacks. But obviously, because you have to get the timing right, and she's not going to always get it right either. So it's always better if you yourself keep trying as well. Two people work better than one.
Yeah, especially since there are a lot of enemies spawned by the Zodiac itself. Anyway, Jova, to answer you, the problem with Necron is that they don't explain anything about it. The only foreshadowing that you get is just through visual symbolism. Actually, visual symbolism through the entire game, because one of the motifs that you see everywhere is actually eyes, and the Necron actually doesn't have eyes, which represent the fact that he sees everywhere in Gaia, but he himself cannot see. Basically, it's all complicated and it needs to be addressed when we get to Final Fantasy IX. The problem, the thing is, Jova, the things are here but are not explained to the player, so it's still inexcusable.
It's interesting. That's one of the things that I really appreciate about the final boss of Final Fantasy 15. Without spoiling anything, the final boss of Final Fantasy 15 pretty much is a kind of a middle finger to the tradition of JRPGs in terms of when it comes to final bosses. Instead, it decides to just, you know what, we're not going to do that. We're just going to do what's necessary and for the story and not do stuff. Personally, I don't mind either way because, well, it's sometimes the main reason JRPG developers do this kind of thing is because they want, they like having the final bosses having multiple forms or something like that, because that way you can really make things hard for the player. Final boss has to be hard and shit. And at the same time, it has to feel climatic enough, so they don't want you to just fight one person. And I'm sure Theo will probably appreciate that 15 does that, considering one of his pet thieves of 13.
Yeah. Well, to me, the thing is, it needs to be balanced. I'm fine with monster bosses, but it needs to be balanced with actual human bosses.
And to be fair, we did fight Cassiopea as a human before this anyway, so it's not.
I don't mind with that, honestly, because the boss variety in this game is well enough for my taste, anyway.
But I'll just say this too: Final Fantasy 15 makes up for the lack of human boss fights in 13. I'll tell you that.
Okay. And yes, in tradition, this being also the final boss, this is a fucking sponge.
Yeah. Well, actually, Dwebs, have you ever actually completed a Persona game?
Well,
Dwebs?
I think he burped.
Oh, he
Yeah,
burped.
I guess
Okay.
he burped.
so we've been talking to Air this whole time.
Not really. We were talking in general. It's only now that I started.
Besides Jova, there's always the audience to listen. Also, yeah, another thing, as I mentioned, randomly the Zodiac will spawn these satellites, which I guess represents other members of the Zodiac, and it will try use these chaos area attacks. So it's best for you to use area of attacks as long as they're still there, so you can be sure to damage all of them.
Oh, Biz, are you back? I thought I heard something. Piercing gaze.
Yeah, piercing gaze, I think, is the one that gives a fuck ton of the buffs.
Yeah.
Oh, there you go. Let me check what it does. Yeah, it does. Yeah, it basically gives you debuffs to all your stats.
Yeah.
I forgot which. Did you jump cut?
No, I didn't. It's because I was using Astra, and the nausea chance thingy happened while I was casting Astra, so it did it immediately.
The nausea spell was from Cassiopea, okay.
Yeah.
There we go.
Fortunately, Cassiopea, you don't have to worry about Cassiopea because she's not technically a party member, so she doesn't have any health. She'll be fine.
She's like Hercules in Kingdom Hearts 2. She's an ally for your fight, but she doesn't have an health bar.
So don't worry about her.
Yeah.
She'll be fine.
I'm Cassiopea and I'm fine.
Aha! You cannot defeat my dynamite. Basically, if you raise this particular familiar to your max level, you're pretty much done because this familiar is so powerful it breaks the game.
Yeah,
like
it's a tank, but he also has a fuck ton of attack power.
yeah.
And yet, he shows up as a
I
mook
love
occasionally.
There you go. Here we go.
Miss anything?
No,
You're
you're
just in
just-
time, dwarves. Very good.
We did it!
How much XP?
So Dweebs.
About as much as a normal Toko, I guess.
Get you?
Well, sorry, I'll mention this briefly. Yeah, don't
Well,
worry.
we're gonna get the ending now too, so
Your,
might as well.
your XP matter. No, I was saying to Dweebs. Are you ready for the most conclusive ending?
This people are always very on this ending. Personally, I don't mind it, but I will agree that it is abrupt.
Just watch.
Yeah, I'll say more later anyway.
I feel the urge to live again stirring in my heart.
That's good.
You have given me hope.
Yeah, this ending. This feels like you could have just
Wait
got
for
the
it.
last boss.
Wait for it.
It's time for a fresh start, Your Majesty.
So let's see you do something with it.
Let's start by apologizing for all that zombification.
And she'll probably
she will
apologize.
do that, as she's about to say.
I know.
She'll probably also apologize for some of the
Also, I've
losers.
seen characters in JRPGs being condoned by way worse stuff anyway.
I must make amends to the people of
Yeah, there you go.
for all that I have done.
Including the Shadar stuff.
Take things one step at a time.
I will. And my first step shall be flowers.
Okay.
Well,
So now we're in a Sonic ending.
like we established in the side quest, flowers were a symbol of happiness and peace in Nazca. So that's how she expresses it. She's a bit outdated in that regard, considering the whole immortality thing.
Yeah.
I just know you can.
And I want you to see it. To see the world you saved.
Again.
In the sequel?
Let's see. I'm foreseeing someone who looks like you in outfit, but oh wait, no, now we're leaving.
A different continuity, so no. Sorry, Oliver.
Who knows? Who
Don't
knows? Who knows? Who knows? It wouldn't be the first time he knows tried to mislead people, only teasingly.
Yeah, to be honest,
And there we go, Dweebs.
That's the end.
Yep.
We don't
Okay,
even
two
get to
things.
see the world filled
Hang
with
on,
the flowers.
let's Dweebs actually
All right,
see.
go on, Dweebs.
okay, two things. One, to be honest, that cutscene just then felt like you could have just removed that last boss fight and you would have lost nothing really. And two, yeah, this ending's pretty abrupt.
Yeah.
Well, Debs, considering your complaint with some of Litton's endings being way too long and overwrought, I guess maybe this is
This is the total
Overcompensation.
opposite extreme.
Anyway, let's listen to the song because the song is beautiful.
Never gonna be happy with these, am I?
No,
Mm,
you're not.
it's your gift and your curse.
This is Pieces of a Broken Heart, sung by a British quirist kid named Archie Buchanan. I don't know who he is and what else he has done, but man, he can sing.
Well, we're famous for these kinds of songs. I mean, we had Walking in the Air. Two different versions of it.
A little fun fact for those who are not aware: the original Japanese version of this song was, of course, written and composed by Jorizashi, obviously. And in the original Japanese version, this song is actually performed by Mai Hisaishi, Jorizashi's daughter, who's a famous singer in Japan, and she also sang for a couple Studio Ghibli films as
Hey,
well.
level 5.
That's charming.
Level 5. You know localizing songs? Why didn't you do that for the Layton games?
There you go.
Well, that was more so Nintendo's decision, because remember,
Was
Nintendo
that
Europe
really?
was the one. Yeah.
Yeah, it probably will. Remember, Jova, when it came to Rogue Galaxy, there's also the same thing. We have the song, and it's completely song. It's not the instrument. I think there is an instrumental. but
Actually, no,
there
not
is-
really. Dreaming My Way Home retained its
Oh, wait,
full-
Yeah,
Wait,
that's
wait,
exactly
wait,
what I'm
wait,
saying.
wait, I swear I've heard that guy's
being
name
with Sony. Hold on, Waves. Being with Sony and not with Nintendo allowed the song to stay. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I don't know if Dark Cloud and Dark Chronicle have that.
They do. All of the the original PS2 Sony trilogy of Level 5 has songs in English, even in the original Japanese version. Tomoto Nishida composed the song itself, and they hired a specific singer, and that same singer also wrote the lyrics. And those are American singers, and that's by the Dreaming My Way Home, since that's the one Terry's familiar with, and that's why Dreaming My Way Home is English in both versions. Even in Japan, it's in English.
Well, apparently Sony helped with making the Wizard Companion physical edition for the West.
Which might be the reason why this may not reach PC. If there will be a remaster, if there is a remaster, it will probably be a PS4 exclusive because of Sony's technology involved. It's kind of the same reason why the Kingdom Hearts collections apparently are still Sony exclusives, because apparently there was some Sony technology involved.
No. The main reason is just the fact that it's been quote on stepping. It's been mainly Sony stuff.
Oh.
It all depends on how much your money had. What's wrong, Dwibs?
Poor guy. You're the guy who voices Smiley in this game.
Well, don't tell me he died, please. No.
No. He's alive.
Oh, thank you.
He's alive, but he was his only noteworthy. He's done other work, but his most noteworthy one after this was voicing a delivery frog in Alice Through the Looking Glass.
Oh.
The video game?
The movie, I'm guessing.
No, but that one is Alice Madrin's Returns.
No. I'm pretty sure that there's
is he a renowned Welsh comedian?
I'm pretty sure that there's a tie-in video game.
But he is Welsh. And,
Consider I figured that out from the accent, Whips.
All right, Weebs, stay tuned because we're having.
And now we have a. There you go, Twiz. We at least get the after credits.
But there's no Nick Fury, so don't mind that.
It's gonna be.
Oliver will not be joining the Avengers. Sorry.
I can't join the Avengers. I'm only 12.
I don't know, Dwibs. Considering the Marvel universe, that wouldn't really be.
Here we
We
go.
can talk about that later.
And now
Join the Runaways.
he rides a broom.
That's a Kiki reference to it. Basically, there's a Hayao Miyazaki movie made back in the early '90s called Kiki, the Apprentice, and she rides around in a broom. So that's a reference to that.
Do you mean Kiki's delivery service?
That's it. Well, sorry, I'm used to the Portuguese name of it. Sorry.
There is also a callback to one of the spells that Oliver could not use that was in the Wizard Companion. He finally made it to use it.
It's a shame we couldn't use that in the game, but okay.
Wait, yay! I can start paying my rent.
Yeah.
No. Well, they implied in the beginning of the game that Miss Layla is taking care of him.
So. I know, just joking.
But he's still in the house on his own, like.
And the game ends with Oliver doing his best Harry Potter broomstick impression from that first movie.
There you go.
Right. So that was Ni no Kuni, Wrath of the White Witch. Dwight, since you're the newcomer, why don't you give your final thoughts first?
Yeah. Okay. Let's just get the negatives out the way first, because like every game has them.
Sure, go ahead.
The ending was a bit abrupt, and it's like I said just earlier, you could have cut out that last boss, and you wouldn't really lose anything, because the ending scene just goes on like that never really happened.
Yeah, I understand that.
And also actually, it had a pretty dodgy ending, but that's about it.
All right, so the positives now.
I like the music.
We all do.
I never really heard much of Joe Hisashi's music before because I can only get through like half of Spirited Away before I give up.
Well, trust me, Dwibs. I'm sure when you start watching more of Miyazaki's movies, trust me, you'll fall in love with his music in general. He's a great composer. But go ahead.
Besides, Dwibs, I'm sure you'll be able to stand it when we do our official commentary on that movie.
I'll have to.
All right, go ahead.
What else is there?
The story? Did you like the story in general?
Yeah, I did.
All right. Any particular favorite character? I'm guessing Drippy.
More so some of the more some of the more dafter ones than Drippy.
You mean his fairy kin?
Oh, you mean Smiley and Surly like? Oh, okay.
Yeah. The Welsh fairies.
Yeah, of course.
I'd only have a species name, but I'm just gonna call them the Welsh fairies.
Sure. Well, that's kind of what they are. I mean, it's a tidy town and everything. Yeah, go ahead. What did you think of the graphics in general? Because I still think this is one of the most beautiful games ever created.
Oh no. For PS3, it's for late PS3, it's pretty good. Although I think I can tell a little bit that that it's that transitioning from the DS to this was a little bit rough.
Yeah, fortunately, Ni no Kuni 2 will not have that promise. It was made for the PS4 right from the beginning.
And PC.
Yeah, and PC later. It started out as a PS4 exclusive, though.
But now it's available on PC because PlayStation 3 items are now available on PC. Never thought you'd see the day about that now, would you?
Alright, so final thoughts, Vibs, in general?
Yeah, I like this one. It's not my favorite. It's not my favorite level 5 game that I've seen, but
Still Pandora's Box, I'm guessing.
Yeah.
Of course. Alright, go ahead, Shiro. What do you think?
Love everything about it, aside from the rushed ending. I mean, I'm fine with the concept of the ending itself, but it's like they put the game on fast forward, I guess. And I liked it a lot better this second time around than the first time because I couldn't really piece it together at all the first time around. But yeah, I mean, I do have a better appreciation for it now, but it was still a bit rushed. But again, apart from that, I love everything about this.
You got me imagining the guy. You got me imagining Hino accidentally sitting on the fast forward button during the ending of the development.
Or like the PC with the speed up gameplay.
Alright, are you done, Shiro?
Yes.
Alright, Teo, I know you want to get a lot off your chest, so go ahead.
Alright, I wanna start this off by making perfectly clear that I don't hate this game. I mean, as I mentioned briefly in several parts, I also played it and even got the platinum, so that also means that I had enough fun to be dedicated enough to actually get burned out for it. Granted, the burnout experience itself was really painful, but I still had fun nonetheless. That's the thing. My main problem is, as I mentioned, is that due to being attacked on content made in very little time for a port, the entire portion of White Witch to me almost completely it ruins the experience to me. Don't get me wrong, stuff like the fairy ground and the idea that Shadar was actually obeying someone higher is actually cool. But when you start actually thinking about the stuff, you start asking yourself a lot of questions. Like, for example, why is the White Witch powers are so inconsistent? Because at the very beginning, you can see that she can clearly spy Oliver, what he's doing, and she has some kind of interference with his life. But for the rest of the game, she's either lazy enough to rely on Shadar, or she just forgets about it, I guess.
Well, to be fair, we did specifically have that scene where she said, "I entrust this task entirely to you." But
apparently she was so lazy or ignorant to not see under her fucking eyes that Shadar was playing double game.
She's living in her own world and shit.
Well, I don't think that makes her stupid. Just very what's the term?
Inept. Oh, yeah. Facetious.
Vanity.
All right, carry
vain.
Anyway, to me, the game would have been just fine if it ended with Shadar, but with stuff that happened so far with the White Witch, stuff like, for example, the Fairground, as I mentioned, because that's a very nice addition, even though the implications are very disturbing. I mean, you do practice an abortion with a giant squid. The question is, how would have I done better? I have no idea because, again, Level 5 and Studio Ghibli are entire completely monsters of animation and gaming, so I don't even want to try. But my best guess would have been having sequel baiting. I mean, yeah, it's cheap, but it would have been given time to prepare a more conclusive and detailed story. And even when what Reeves mentioned, the idea of the Zodiarchy just being that imagination is just a waste of potential to me. It's like it's literally building up characters and just revealing that better or nothing. I mean, it's not the problem in it doesn't make sense because it makes sense in context. It is that it's just disappointing in the fact that the developers chose to choose decide to choose that option. That's it. But enough about ranting anyway. The game itself is actually really fun. The balance, the gameplay could have been with the magic and the fact that you can interrupt the action could have been balanced a little more. And I wish some of the pages of a Wizard's Companion didn't outright troll you with spells you cannot use or monsters you cannot encounter anymore. But I guess it's just part of the charm and immersion more in the world. It's still definitely a very fun game and I enjoy it, and at least for the most part anyway. So that's what it counts.
Yeah, looking forward to since the sequel will not have tacked on content because it was made.
I'm looking for more Giver Case. I just want to, even in the most basic scenario, I just want to see what it's about.
I definitely am waiting to see if it is in continuity with it. Could possibly be. We'll see what happens.
We'll see what happens. All right, Joe, go ahead.
Yeah.
Sorry, are you done too? Sorry.
Yeah. I'm sorry.
All right, I'll go next. Yeah, I gotta say, this is a good game. I mean, it may not be something that I go out of my way to play, but if I get the chance, I certainly would play it. The music's good. I will say, though, having actually gone for this game a second time, I feel that what they could have done was, like, well, more so through the first part of this game, mainly with Shadar, have the White Witch actually interfere more as opposed to leaving everything up to Shadar, because, yeah, I agree with Tio, when you actually get to it outside, it is kind of weird how she's the one pulling the strings, and I'll be quite honest, then they do again that someone else was pulling her strings, technically, with the Zodiac. It turns out they were behind it. I mean, I'll admit, it does get a bit...
Actually, not quite, considering they weren't really there for the most part.
I'm talking about the real Zodiac, Shiroi.
Well, not really that, Joe. It was more just a case of she unwittingly created a monster. That was.
Remember though, the real Zodiac.
Okay, Joe, think of it like, if you've seen the MLP episode, think of it like the Tantipus for Luna.
Okay, I know about that. What I mean is, like, well, the real Zodiac people from the past are the ones who set everything into motion. Basically, what I'm saying is, like, well, it does feel a bit redundant having both the White Witch and Shadar have these tragic backstories. I mean, now that's not to say I don't like the White Witch's backstory. In fact, it was actually one of the more better foreshadowed things. Just that it felt a bit redundant with Shadar's is all. What else? But yeah, the final scene could have been handled better. Like, we don't even get to see any of the characters from Ni no Kuni in the final cutscene. It's like the last we saw of them, they were just going into battle, and that's it. Which is kind of a shame. I mean, usually you get something a bit better than that. But, gameplay-wise, this is, good. Works. Not turn-based. It's sort of action-based. The characters are fun. My favorites being Oliver and Swain. And Marcuson. What else? The story is relatively pretty good. Again, except for a few things here where they could have done stuff better. If I were writing this, I definitely would have had it so that the White Witch had a bit more emphasis over stuff. And heck, maybe even have her and Shadar both come after Oliver collectively. Could have used some of that. In fact, yeah, they never do explain why the White Witch is so trusting and why she doesn't just do stuff on her own. In fact, and yeah, her plan to just undo the whole universe kind of comes a bit out of nowhere. Like, I mean, yeah, it's told to us eventually, but only long after Shadar's beaten and whatnot. Which is kind of a shame. She's just an awesome one, but she sadly doesn't get as much focus as could be given to her. Again, though, when they do focus on her, it's nice and swell. I do feel, again, the final boss was tacked on, and, well, if that's the reason why the final cutscene was so abrupt, I kind of wish that they just dedicated more time to that. But, yeah, basically, good game, rough around the edges when you get to outside of when you get outside of the Shadar segment, without a doubt, but still a good game.
Alright, you done?
Yep, Shiroi, you next.
Sure.
Oh wait, she already went.
She already went.
She already said. Go ahead, Pedro.
It's only me now. All right. Okay. I will not voice my problems because my problems with the game have already been voiced by my co-commentators. So for the sake of that, and I think everybody already knows that I love this game anyway. way. So I'll just say a very broad description. The fact that one of the main reasons why I really love this game so much is because that, like any great homage, Ni no Kuni honors the legacy of the games that inspired it, while at the same time creating its own identity in the process. The game, of course, like me and Tara pointed out, has plenty of references to past games, not just Final Fantasy, but plenty of JRPGs from the past. It's about that, in this team have a profound love for JRPGs from the 90s. And that's basically what this game is. This is a 90s JRPG. The world map is clearly structured like a PS1 world map. Like my co-commentator said, the story does have its rough edges, but I still think it's the positive far outweighs the negative. The overall theme of overcoming grief, I think, was handled in an incredibly creative and poignant way. Like we've said ourselves, like the cutscene involving Oliver's realization that he has been he has already gotten over his own mother's death. He just didn't know it yet. It's a great theme, and it's explored in such a creative way, like I've never seen another work of fiction do. Me personally, at least. I love the music. I think the soundtrack is brilliant. The graphics look absolutely gorgeous. It's just in my honest opinion, this is the best JRPG of the 7th generation of consoles. 7th generation, I mind you when I say that. I'm not counting the Wii, because the Wii is its own category of sorts, considering it's mostly a souped-up GameCube.
It was part of 7th gen, but the weakest.
Okay, fine. If you wanna get technical and say it's fine. Second best after Xenoblade Chronicles.
Reminder that the Nintendo Switch is 9th gen.
Yeah, technically it is. Yeah, technically it is. Yeah.
So at the moment I'm more advanced than any of you.
Don't let it go to your head, Rick James.
Let Pedro continue.
So yeah, Ni no Kuni is a fantastic game. I thought, like I've said at the end of part 8 of this playthrough, like this is a game that I desperately needed to succeed after being disappointed for years in this when it comes to games of this genre. Because at the time of this the year before this game came out, I did manage to get quite a good fix with Tales of Grace's F, which was the best Tales of game in years since Abyss. So I did get a good fix even before this game came out, but not to this extent. This is the game that I really wanted Blue Dragon to be, like a true successor to the JRPGs from the 90s. And I think this game does a really good job in capturing the magic of the golden days. And of course I'm incredibly looking forward to the sequel. And of course, considering the positive, very probably he already said in the behind-the-scenes features that he finds the second game to be a huge improvement over this one.
Bit presumptuous, but I guess we'll see.
We'll see. Well, all right, so tune in for Ni no Kuni 2, Revenant Kingdom, for when we eventually get to it.
We still have to do the developers did after this, so stay tuned also for that.
I think Ni no Kuni 2 may actually be a co-playthrough. Maybe. Who knows? We'll see.
Okay. See you, everybody.
See ya.